Hi, folks. Dave Schmidt. It's the evening of March 22nd as I'm coming to you with this introduction to the weekly radio program that will be on tomorrow night. This week, I want to talk about one of my most favorite topics. The topic sounds very simple, and it seems like, well, what does this have to do with everything that we're wanting to do about bringing funds forward and helping shift and change our world? But it's a topic that has been a part of my life for so many years, and it's the topic of forgiveness. And what is important about that, and how does it work? We are just beginning as a human race to understand really the power of our thoughts. It's in various forms of quantum physics where they show us about how our thoughts literally create the world around us that we experience. We are creating our own experiences based on how we perceive and how we project our thoughts out to others and in our experiences. We're all in this situation where we really want to see a world that is changed. We want to see a world that becomes healed. We want to see a world that becomes better. You know, if you're like me and following what's happening in the presidential primary of the elections this season, it's like, wow, I have never seen a year like this. And I've been around political campaigns for over 30 years. And there's irritation, there's agitation, there's anger, there's projection, there's taking sides, there's blaming each other. It seems to be more intense this year than anything that I have ever seen before. Now, we may think that, well, it's kind of disgusting, but on the other hand, there's a positive side to that. And that's the fact that people, they're angry and they want to see some change and they don't like what's happening, and they're beginning to project this anger out into the political election process. Well, how do you shift and change things that don't work very well? If you have a world that you don't like, if you have a world that you perceive as evil, if you have a world that you think is horrible, if things seem to be getting worse and things just don't seem to be very well at all, how do you shift and change that? You change your perception of your thoughts. And that, in the very essence core, is the root definition of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about who is right or wrong. Forgiveness is not about what I think you did to me, so therefore I have to forgive you. Forgiveness at its very root is about a shift in perception. You choose to look at it differently, and what you are doing is basically then changing your projection, giving a different perspective of what you thought was or could be, or how you choose to see something. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful things that we can do in our lives once we understand it, what it means, and how we can literally change our world with it. You can be in a situation that maybe you can't change the externals of your world, but you can by understanding how to shift your perception, how to view things differently, how to forgive the world, how to forgive others, how to forgive yourself. You can change your world. And that's the most important thing, is if you want to change an external world, you have to first change your own internal world. You have to choose to see it differently, come at it from a different angle, have a different perception, and project different energetic, powerful mind thoughts into the environment around you. You shift and change the world when you shift and change yourself. And you shift and change yourself through the process of forgiveness. This is a topic that I absolutely love. I haven't really talked about it that much on the radio programs, but for those of you who have attended my workshops, you know it's what I finish up the day with, and I love talking about this because it's a very, very important part of my life. Along with that note, you know, I have said more than once on these videos and in my radio program, the book that has changed my life more than any other book is called Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard. I've become acquainted with Gary. In fact, he and I were on the phone for about 2 hours yesterday, and we were talking about the RV, the exchange, the positions of the Anunnaki, and all this stuff. And I was telling him all the history about this and what's been going on in my life in the last couple of months, and how we all tied that in, how it is actually a process of shifting and changing our world. Well, I want to make this announcement. This is not the main announcement. I will actually come out with that later. But on May 14th, I'm hosting Gary Renard and his wife Cindy here in Sedona for a one-day workshop. They're going to be here in Sedona for 4 days on a vacation, and they said, hey, yes, we'll go ahead and take one day, Saturday, May 14th, to do a workshop here in Sedona, and I'm getting to be their host. So it's not my workshop, it's theirs, but I'm the one who's hosting it and putting it on, and registrations are through me and through my website, thesedonaconnection.com. I'll have some announcements more on that later, maybe in about 2 or 3 weeks, because we're still about 2 months out for that, but it's going to be Saturday, May 14th. My absolute most favorite author, Gary Renard. I get to spend a day with he and his wife, Cindy, and then we're going to have a one-day workshop here in Sedona. And the very core of everything he talks about is the power of forgiveness, how you literally shift and change your world and all of it. And that's going to be my topic on the radio program tomorrow night. Love to have you there. Love to have you call in. Have an absolutely wonderful day on Wednesday before the program, and a wonderful week if you're not in touch with us until next week. Okay? You're all very well loved. Thank you very much. Okay. Bye-bye.